Here are the top 20 deadly mistakes that new YouTubers make and is the sole reason why so many creators do not survive on this platform. The first deadly mistake is overthinking. Whether that's overthinking your niche, your content, or your equipment, overthinking is going to lead you to not get the same results as other creators here. Now, what you want to focus on, especially if you are in the beginning stages of your channel, is to build the skill of creating videos. Now, in order to build a skill, it means that you actually have to execute and do. So remember, the first 3 months of your channel is not going to be perfect. You may not know your niche. You may not know exactly who your ideal client is. You may not know exactly who your ideal audience is, and you may not get it right, and that's totally okay, because the more videos that you're able to do within that 3-month window, you're going to be able to determine what equipment you need, what you need to improve in your videos. And the best part about YouTube is that you can actually access your analytics, and the more videos that you do, the more YouTube actually gets a read on your channel and tells you what you need to improve on. For example, you can easily read your audience retention report and see where people are dropping off in your videos. You can access your analytics and see how long on average people are staying around, or even where the traffic is coming from, or even what people are searching for in order to find you. But if you do not have enough videos for YouTube to even give you this data, you're not going to be able to improve the channel. That's why the first 3 months of starting your channel, don't overthink it, just create the content and look at the data afterwards, which will inform you on what you need to know. Now let's move on to the second deadly mistake that a lot of new YouTubers make, and that is pigeonholing their niche. A lot of experts here on YouTube will tell you to find a niche, to focus, to double down. And while this is good advice, I don't think that this is advice that new creators should be following, especially if you are unclear about your niche in the first place. What has worked really well for me is within the first 3 months of me creating my channel, I just created content that I felt like creating. I created content on finance, I created content on quitting the 9 to 5, I created content about social media, and over time, within those 12 videos that I created, I was able to see which videos got the most views, which videos got the least amount of views, and also understand what I like to create as a creator as well. And from there, mixing data with feelings, I was able to see which content pieces I should double down on. This is when I noticed, whoa, my videos about social media and Instagram actually do the best, and out of all the content that I create, it's the type of content that I really like doing. And so that's when I started doubling down and actually found my niche. Now, this doesn't happen overnight, and it does require you to actually create a few videos to see what sticks. And that is ultimately what I recommend for new creators who are just not sure. Don't pigeonhole yourself too soon, because if I had started and I said, you know what, I'm going to create videos about finance, then I would have never found the niche that I have today, which is social media. And so all this is to say is that experimentation is key. So spend the first 3 months experimenting here on YouTube. At the same time though, just because I'm encouraging you to experiment for the first 3 months of doing your channel, it doesn't mean that you experiment without a plan. And that leads me to the third deadly mistake that I see a lot of new YouTubers make, and that is not planning the first month of content at minimum. And really, the first month of content, if you're only posting once a week, is really only 4 videos. So what I want you to do is I want you to actually intentionally map out the first 4 content pieces that you're gonna do, but beyond that, actually script for those videos. And if you need help with scripting, check the link in my description box below, because I have a scripting vault that walks you through the entire methodology of how to script for your videos. But ultimately, what you want to do is you want to already map out the first 4 videos, script them out, because that will hold you accountable to actually filming. A lot of times, new YouTubers lose momentum because they procrastinate. In order to beat that procrastination, if you actually create a plan in advance and you script out the videos, you already know what those 4 topics are going to be, there's no excuse of why you can't film. Versus a lot of people, the reason why they don't film is because they'll make excuses like, well, I didn't create the script yet, or I don't know what I'm going to film, or I don't know what topics to do. So in order to prevent that from happening, already map out the first month of videos, and that way you'll have no excuse but to hit record. Now let's talk about the fourth deadly mistake that I see, and that is not batching at least 2 videos before you launch your channel. A lot of times new YouTubers will get so excited and jump the gun, and so they'll announce to their audience or they'll announce to their friends and family that they're starting a YouTube channel. They film the first video, and then after they upload it, they're like, crap, Now I gotta film the second video. Crap, I didn't realize how long editing actually takes or how long filming actually takes. And so what ends up happening is they release their channel, they post the first video, and then we never hear from them again because they got overwhelmed and they don't film the second video. And so that is the worst thing that can happen because it's showing your audience that you're not consistent from the get-go. And so my recommendation is before you even launch your channel, before you even launch the first video, make sure you've already filmed 2 videos in advance so that you're already starting off on a good foot and already starting off ahead of the curve. This will really prevent you from falling off the wagon because a lot of new YouTubers underestimate how long it takes to film and how long it takes to edit. And it's not necessarily because it should take that long. It's mostly because this is a new thing that you're working on. And like I said earlier on in this video, YouTube is really a skill to develop. Being a creator is a new skill that you're learning. And with any new skill that you're learning, it's going to take time. And so make sure that you fail-proof your channel by at least batching 2 videos in advance before you even launch your channel. Now let's talk about the next deadly mistake, and that is not growing your email list. Don't get me wrong, I love YouTube as a platform, but I also know that it may not last forever. Just like any social media platform, MySpace, Nexopia, Clubhouse even, they kind of die down or they become obsolete. And so do not put all your eggs in one basket, because if you don't focus on growing your email list and you only focus on growing your social media channels, doesn't matter if it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever, you are basically putting yourself at risk. You're putting all of your eggs in that company. And if that company decides to delete all your contacts, or if you get hacked, or if they get hacked, then you're going to have to really start from scratch. Now, you might be wondering, I don't understand why people emphasize email so much. The reason why is because out of all the platforms, out of all the things that you could be doing, email is the one thing that's tried and true that has lasted the test of time. A lot of people, they may change their Instagrams, they may change their YouTube, they may change their podcast, but most people do not change their emails. And so when you are able to collect the emails, it just secures yourself as a creator so that you're able to contact your subscribers or contact your followers in case anything should happen. Not only this, if you decide to monetize and you want to sell something, this is also a really great way to be able to get into someone's inbox. Because when you create videos on YouTube, it's one to many versus on email, even though it is one to many, to the person who's receiving your email, it feels one to one. And so that is why you definitely want to focus on growing your email list. Even for me, when I first started my channel, I didn't have a business, I didn't have anything to sell, I just knew the importance of collecting emails. So what I did was I created a form and I basically told people to get on the mailing list so that I can keep in contact with them and share any exciting updates that I might have in the future. It was really vague and I was still able to collect some emails here and there. Some emails is better than 0 emails, so just keep that in mind when you are starting your channel. And by the way, I started collecting emails within my very first video, so just keep that in mind and start before you are ready. Now, on the topic of emails, let's talk about the next deadly mistake that a lot of new creators make, and that is not optimizing their YouTube cover banner. Now, your YouTube cover banner should have these key components. Number 1, an umbrella statement, or at least some content pillars that tell people what they can expect from your channel. So for instance, let's say you're not really clear on what your niche is yet, that's totally fine. But if you have certain buckets of topics that you want to share, put that in your cover banner. For instance, if you're talking about health, maybe your cover banner could say nutrition, fitness, and health or something like that. So at least people know what to expect in your channel. Or if you don't want to do content pillars, you can give an overarching theme of what your channel is all about or what the mission is of your channel. Not only this, I would also recommend putting in your post frequency. So are you going to be posting once a week every week? Do you upload every Sunday? Do you upload once a month? These are things that you might want to put in your channel so that your audience knows what to expect. But most importantly, in the cover banner that you want to take advantage of is the link section. And it's not just about putting your social links, it's about putting your own link. This is where you can really amplify collecting emails, and I highly recommend putting a graphic in your cover banner that really points down to that link and entices people on why they should click that link. So for instance, in my example, I have a free training that I give, but I only give it if you give me your email. And so on the cover banner, I've really visualized that so people's attention is drawn to clicking that link. That is also a great way to collect emails, and I feel like it's a missed opportunity that a lot of new creators don't even think of. So make sure you're not making this mistake when you are starting your channel. Now let's talk about the next deadly mistake, and that is wasting time in your intros. If you actually replay this video and watch from the beginning, my intro was very short, less than 30 seconds, maybe even less than that. And there is a reason for this. I used to make a mistake where in the beginning of my videos, I would say, "What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that you guys are here," yada, yada, yada. And it was just a time suck, and I saw huge dips in my audience retention curve where a lot of people clicked out after 30 seconds. What people don't realize is that if your goal is to grow your channel, you want more subscribers, that means that you want your videos to be seen by non-subscribers. And non-subscribers don't care about you saying, "Welcome back to my channel." It's the first time that they've ever seen your video. And so what you want to do is cut to the chase. If someone is searching for a solution in search and they click your video, it's not because they click the video because they like you. It's because they click the video to get content, to get help, to get support. And if you are spending way too much time in your intro and you're not getting to the point quickly, they're gonna click out. What you have to realize is the most important components of your video is the intro and the outro. And later on, we'll talk about the outro. But essentially, you wanna make sure as many people stay past the 30-second mark. And the truth is that 50% of people will click out. So how can you create compelling intros, hooks that lead into the content quickly so that there is no reason for someone to leave? And by the way, if you need support with this, I have my scripting vaults for sale, and the link is in the description box below if you would like to access my templates. Now that we've addressed intros, let's talk about outros, because the next deadly mistake is people packing their outro with way too many call to actions. I used to do this where at the end of my video, I would say, "Hey, if you like this video, watch these 2 videos that I have right here." The problem was I had way too many call to actions and I was super vague as to why people need to watch these videos. Versus now what I've changed about my strategy is I only have 1 call to action at the end. I'm very specific as to why the person should watch that next video. And so what I do now is I say, "Hey, if you like this video, the next video that I want you to watch is this video that I have right here because ABC reason." I'll have the end screen and I'll only have that 1 video for them to watch. What you have to realize is if you give people multiple options, they don't take action. Versus if you give them 1 clear option and explain why they need to choose that option, it's going to increase the amount of clicks that you get on the next video. And I have actually found that to be true. I got 10x results by just doing this 1 shift in my outro, and it has made all the difference because not only am I getting more clicks on my next video, but I'm also getting more views on my other videos and more watch time. And if you do this on every single outro of your videos, you're essentially creating a loop where people are binging on your content, which then increases watch time. And watch time is ultimately what YouTube cares most about. The channels that have the highest watch time are the ones that get pushed out in the algorithm. And so you definitely want to make sure that your outro is very, very intentional to get people to continue to watch your content. Now, switching gears from outros, let's talk about the next deadly mistake, and that is promoting your videos to the wrong people. My biggest pet peeve is when YouTube experts or YouTube gurus tell their clients to share their videos on a bunch of Facebook groups, and that's how you're gonna grow your channel. That's actually gonna kill your channel, and let me tell you why. If you are sharing your videos to the wrong people, and you are doing sub for sub or view for view, and what ends up happening is if you have a lot of people who are clicking the video but leaving within like 1 minute of the video even playing, then YouTube is gonna look at that and being like, "Whoa, what's going on here? Does this content actually just suck?" Because a lot of people aren't even watching it. And what ends up happening then is YouTube will deprioritize your content in the algorithm. And so when you are sharing your content, you want to make sure that you're sharing it to the right people. I don't have anything against sharing your content in a Facebook group, but you just want to make sure that the purpose of them watching the video isn't to just click on it. It's to them actually watching it so that you can increase your watch time, so that you can actually show YouTube you have great content. Now, for a lot of us, when we're starting out, we only have family and friends to lean on, and that's totally okay. But what I would do instead is if you only have family and friends and you want them to support you, how I would ask them to support is this. I would obviously ask them to subscribe and to watch the video. But if they can't watch the video, I would make it really easy for them. I would say, you know what? If you can't watch the video, that's totally okay. I'm just in a season where I really want to make this channel a success, and I want more people that actually want to watch my videos to see my content. And how you can help me is by playing my video at 2x speed, muting it, and just playing it in the background. That alone will help me so much because that's going to increase my watch time, and that's also going to increase my view duration. So it's going to show YouTube that I have interesting things to say, and therefore it's going to boost me up in the algorithm so my content does reach the right people. I personally think that is a way better way to explain to your friends and family on how they can support your channel rather than the generic like and subscribe. And so keep this in mind, especially if you're a newer creator. But even if you're not a new creator, just make sure you're choosing quality over quantity when promoting your videos. Now moving on to the next deadly mistake, and that is not understanding the main metric of success here on YouTube, which is watch time. I used to think that it was the amount of views that you get, or the amount of subscribers that you have, or the amount of click-through rate, or the average view duration. But the truth is that it is watch time that is king. YouTube will favor creators who have high watch time because it basically tells YouTube that, hey, this creator is attracting an audience that's watching a lot of videos on YouTube. And so what you want to do is to create longer videos or find ways to get people to watch more of your videos. And so a mistake that I used to make is I used to create really short videos that were like 5 minutes, 10 minutes long, because I thought that the way to grow on YouTube was to get people to watch as much of the video as possible. But what I realized is that if I am creating a 5-minute video and someone watches 100% of the video, the amount of watch time that I'm getting is 5 minutes max. Versus if I create a 30-minute video and that person only watches 50% of it, I get 15 minutes of watch time, which is 3 times more than creating a 5-minute video. And so now my strategy has shifted where I'm okay if you don't watch the full video, but I want to make sure you watch enough so that I get a lot of watch time to show YouTube that what I have to say is interesting, is compelling enough, and so I'm able to get featured more in the algorithm. And so keep in mind that within your YouTube strategy, within whatever you do, always focus on getting as much watch time as possible. And it's very similar to what I said earlier on when I talked about the outro, about how you want to make sure you're linking back to other videos on your channel, because the more you get people to binge watch your content, the more YouTube is going to see you as a valuable creator. So keep this in mind when you are crafting your YouTube strategy. Now let's talk about the next deadly mistake now, and that is comparing yourself to other YouTubers, especially established YouTubers. If you are just starting out and you're comparing yourself to me, that is a totally backwards way of approaching YouTube. A huge mistake that I see a lot of new creators doing is they compare their very first video that they've done to someone's 100th iteration of their video. Just know, even for me, I have created over 200 videos on this channel. So of course, this video is going to be a lot better than your first draft. And something that really helped me when I was first starting out is any YouTuber that I admired, I would use that as my inspiration, but I wouldn't see them as a competitor. I wouldn't see them as someone that I'm competing with because we're just on different lanes. But what I would do instead is I would filter their videos from oldest to newest, and I'll look at their first videos that they've ever done, and I'll benchmark that instead. For example, I really look up to Evan Carmichael. I think he is one of the best YouTubers in a sense where he's just been around for a really long time, and I think he has a really well-oiled machine. But what I did when I first started out is instead of comparing my videos to his most recent videos, I went from oldest to newest and I looked at his very first few videos, and I just felt so much better because it showed me that someone like Evan Carmichael, who has so many subscribers, had their beginning start as well. And so whether your biggest inspiration is Mr. Beast, Sean Cannell, or anyone else here on the YouTube space, make sure you're watching their first few videos and comparing that instead of watching their most recent videos, because that is a recipe for you feeling like shit and also creating unrealistic expectations for yourself. Now, let's get tactical. Let's talk about the next deadly mistake, and that is not using a deep link when promoting your YouTube videos on Instagram stories. If you are using this link to share your YouTube videos on Instagram stories, if someone clicks on that link, if they ever want to subscribe or comment on the video, they're going to be prompted to sign in order to do that. That is a huge friction point, especially if you are a new YouTuber and you want to grow your subscribers. You want to make it easy for people to not only engage, but also subscribe. So what I like to use is this app called LinkedIn. And what I do is I paste my link in LinkedIn, and then I get this special deep link. And when I go into my Instagram stories, I paste that link. And what ends up happening is if someone clicks on that link, it's going to automatically direct them to the YouTube app. That way, if they want to comment, if they want to subscribe, they're already signed in and there is no friction points. This is definitely going to help you grow your channel and make it a lot easier for people to engage with you, but also subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below if this tip helped. Now, we are rapid firing this, so let's go into the next mistake, and that is not repurposing your content. The biggest advantage that you have as a YouTuber is you're creating long form videos, which could then be chopped up into YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikToks. And so if you're not doing that, it's a huge missed opportunity because it's a lot of work to be a creator, especially on multiple platforms. So make your life easier by repurposing your YouTube videos. It's a huge mistake that I see a lot of rookies make because they're literally burning themselves out unnecessarily. And so what I would do if I were you is I would take my long form video and I would edit those into as many little reels as possible or short form content pieces as possible. Now, if you have a little bit of money to spend, I would outsource this to a video editor. You can go on Upwork and find a video editor. You can ask your friends and family for a video editor. Get someone else to chop up the content that you've already created. Now, if you want to make it super easy for you, what you can also do is within the mobile app, after you've done a video, you can actually hit the create button and create an Instagram short from that video directly in the app. And then when someone actually watches the video, your long form video is actually going to be linked to that YouTube short. So if someone clicks on the link, they're going to be redirected to the long video. I personally think that YouTube Shorts is a really great opportunity. There was actually an update by YouTube telling people that, hey, if someone watches your YouTube Shorts, we're now going to recommend your long form videos to them as well. Whereas before, shorts and long form videos were two separate things. Not only this, there was also an update saying that on your channel, there's now going to be a tab for shorts and a tab for long form videos so that it's not a huge mishmash and it doesn't ruin the user experience. These are updates that YouTube is rolling out. So if you aren't doing YouTube Shorts already, or maybe you were hesitant on doing that on your main channel, I highly recommend that you look into it now. Now, on the topic of repurposing content, you're gonna make sure that as a creator, you are staying organized. That leads me to the next deadly mistake, and that is not creating a system for yourself when it comes to content planning. Now, this is what my content planner looks like. I built it out myself in Notion, and what it has is in one column right here, I've got all of my content ideas for YouTube. Once I pick an idea that I really want to pursue, I'll then move it to the scripting column. This is where I'll open up the card and start scripting out my videos. Once that video's done scripting, I'll then move it to filming to show myself and my team that, hey, this video is currently being worked on. Once that's done, I move it to the next column, and throughout that time period, my video editor will be editing the video, all those different things. Once a video has been edited, we then upload it to YouTube, and then we start adding the description, the keywords, the playlist, make sure that it's optimized, and then after we publish it. And so this dashboard holds me accountable and it keeps me organized. And if you want to buy this dashboard for yourself, then make sure you click the link in my description box below because I'm currently selling it, and it not only keeps you organized for YouTube, but it also keeps you organized for Instagram and newsletter and everything else. So definitely check out the link in my description box if you would like to have access to this dashboard so you can keep yourself organized. Now let's talk about the next deadly mistake that a lot of creators make, and that is not investing in your channel. One of the very first hires that I ever did in my business was a video editor, because video editing is a huge time suck and is a huge bottleneck to your workflow. When it comes to creating videos, the one thing that you can't outsource is you actually filming, especially if you're a personal brand. But anything else you can outsource, and video editing, in my personal opinion, should be the number one thing that you outsource because it takes the most time, and there's likely a lot of talented video editors out there that can edit your videos better than you do. And so make sure you get your time back by being willing to outsource, especially if you are someone who works a 9-to-5 and you're making a paycheck. Spend some of that paycheck and invest in your channel. You're going to be able to grow a lot faster if you actually outsource a few things on your videos. Now, for me, in the beginning stages of my channel, I edited every single video. It's very clear and obvious when you watch my earlier stages of videos. At the same time, once I started making some money, or once I realized that YouTube is something I really want to pursue, that's when I started outsourcing video editing. Eventually, I also outsourced thumbnails as well. And when you go on Upwork, you can actually filter by project and find people that can edit thumbnails for $20 each thumbnail, which is really cheap, or even $5 a thumbnail. And so just know that when you invest in your channel and you're able to outsource these things, you're going to be able to buy your time back so that you can film more videos or focus on other aspects of your business. Now on to the next deadly mistake, and that is underestimating the amount of time that it takes to film videos. This is very specific for you newer creators who think that filming a video is only gonna take 30 minutes or an hour. It actually takes 2 hours on average to film videos. And especially if you're starting out, it might even take you longer. It could be 3 hours. Just because you might make mistakes, you might fumble, you might not be comfortable on camera. There are so many things that happen. And one of the ways to lose momentum is to underestimate how long it actually takes to film videos. And so what I recommend for you is that when you're starting out your channel, block off at least half of the day to film videos. Even if you feel the video is 5 minutes long and it's not going to take that long, it might actually take long. And so you don't want to underestimate that because that's going to throw you off of momentum. I know that when I first started my channel, I underestimated how long it would take to film. And I also started way later in the day. And so for my very first video, it took me a long time to film it. It actually took me a few days to film it because number one, I underestimated how long it would take to film. Secondly, I started filming at like 3 p.m. in the daytime because I was like, you know what? It's probably gonna take me 30 minutes to film this video, so I'll just start at 3. It ended up taking me 3 hours, so 3 to 6. And by the time it was like 5 p.m., I already lost half of my lighting. I wasn't even halfway through my video. And so I was like, damn it, I'm gonna have to redo this tomorrow. And so then the next day I woke up extra early to make sure I got good sunlight and I gave myself enough buffer time to film the actual video. And so make sure you are not underestimating the amount of time that it takes to film videos. And I recommend blocking at least half of the day to film your first video. Now moving on to the next deadly mistake, and that is not learning how to read your analytics on YouTube sooner. One of the reasons why I love YouTube compared to other platforms is because you have a plethora of data at your disposal so that you can create better videos and so that you can always improve. But if you don't know how to read those analytics, then you're really robbing yourself of that opportunity. Whereas platforms like Instagram or TikTok or whatever else, like I'll post something and I have no idea why it worked. I have no idea what I can improve on, whereas YouTube is completely different. You can actually not only see where people are dropping off in your videos, which parts of your videos are super interesting. You can see what people are searching for, who they're also watching, what specific videos they're watching, what the demographic is, what traffic sources are working for you. And so I highly recommend you watch this video if you haven't already to just learn more about your analytics because it's definitely going to supercharge your channel the moment that you understand how you can improve your videos and what metrics you need to benchmark your videos with. Now, if you are someone who actually understood how analytics worked, then you would avoid the next mistake that I have for you, and that is not realizing what actually gets you more views versus what gets you more watch time. So what I mean by this is if you actually look at the YouTube funnel, it talks about how you need to get impressions, meaning how many times your video is seen on the internet, is seen on the YouTube platform. The person hasn't clicked on it yet, it's just showed up for them. And then from there, how many people actually click on that video, which is your click-through rate, which is determined by your thumbnail, your title, how engaging and click-worthy those things are. And then once they click the video, you get the view. But it doesn't stop there. You also want to make sure that your video is compelling enough for people to watch for longer. And that is your view duration. How much of the video is people actually watching? And then from there, how much watch time are you racking up? And this has a lot to do with how long your video is and how many more videos they're also watching. And so it's really important to understand this concept so that you know in order to get views, you want to focus on your title, your topic, and your thumbnail so that people will actually click so you can get the view. But then the other side of the story is to make sure you're getting a lot of watch time. And what that includes is making sure your intro, your outro, how you edit the video, what you're actually saying in the video is compelling enough for people to want to watch until the end. And so when you understand this concept, you're going to be able to focus your efforts. Because the mistake that I see a lot of rookies make is they'll tell me, oh, well, I want to get more views, so I bought this crazy equipment. And I'm like, your equipment has nothing to do with you getting views. In order to get views, you just need to have the right topics, thumbnail, and title. But if you told me that you want to increase your watch time, you want to make your videos more engaging, then sure, maybe some equipment can help you do that, but it's really backwards thinking if you think equipment or video editing or all that stuff is actually going to get you views. It's not. Your topic, your title, your thumbnail is. Whereas for watch time, you want to focus on video editing, the content itself, your intro and outro, and maybe your equipment. For instance, instance, you want to make sure that your audio and your video is good enough so that people don't click out of the video because they're annoyed. And so ultimately, you want to make sure you understand your analytics, but also understand what specifically gets you views and what specifically gets you watch time. Now, switching gears, let's talk about the next deadly mistake, and that is just giving up too soon. I said earlier on in this video that it takes about 3 months to actually even understand what the heck you're doing on YouTube. And 3 months is really just 12 videos. So think about it. If you give up after 3 months, you've really only given up after 12 videos. Imagine telling someone, oh yeah, I did 12 videos and I gave up. That's just so lame. And so you want to make sure that you're not giving up too soon. And a good example I like to use is MKBHD. He's got a lot of subscribers on YouTube. He's one of the top tech reviewers here on the platform. But if you actually look at his videos from oldest to newest, you'll see that MKBHD posted 100 videos. And even after 100 videos, he wasn't super successful on YouTube. He posted a lot of videos before he found his mark. And so I really want to use that as your benchmark and understanding that YouTube takes time. And that is why a lot of people don't survive YouTube, because they're so used to platforms like Instagram, TikTok that give them instant gratification. YouTube requires work, but it's also the platform that pays you the most, not only in AdSense revenue, but also in long-term skills and visibility. Thanks to YouTube, people find me. I attract, I don't chase. A lot of people find my videos and want to work with me as a coach. They want to buy my programs. They want to invite me on big stages. In fact, I was able to speak at Grow with Video Live, and another speaker at the event was Gary Vee. And I wouldn't have gotten that opportunity had I not created videos on YouTube. So yes, YouTube takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of time, but the payoff is insane. I actually surveyed my audience and I asked them, which platform would you rather have 1 million followers on? And YouTube by far beat all of them. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the value of a subscriber is far greater than any type of follower that you can get on any other social media platform. That's why when you put in the work, you're going to get high rewards. But if you give up too soon, you're never going to see those big rewards that a lot of YouTubers get from maintaining their channels. Now, speaking of giving up on your channel too soon, I want to talk about the next deadly mistake, and that is feeling like you need to have results in order to create videos on YouTube teaching a subject. A lot of people don't realize that there are 3 different types of experts that exist. The results-based expert is the one expert that we always glorify. Someone who has a lot of social proof, who has a lot of results for themselves and others, who has a lot of testimonials, and who is an expert at their craft. But what they don't realize is that there's also 2 other experts that exist, which is the research-based expert and the role model-based expert. So a research-based expert is, let's say you are so good at researching a subject, you're so knowledgeable about it, maybe you don't have the traditional results, but you have collected a lot of information on the subject, then you should start a YouTube channel to tell your audience the things that you have learned through your research. It saves people a lot of time from doing the research themselves. So that is a research-based expert. The next type of expert is the role model-based expert, meaning that you're sharing your experience, and that's how I started my channel. I shared my experience of quitting the 9-to-5. I'm no expert. I haven't taught other people to quit their 9-to-5s. I don't have tons of clients or social proof or testimonials, but what I have is my story. What I have is my journey. And so when I started my YouTube channel, I just shared my story and I was a role model for other people. Now, eventually, I was able to actually attract clients and people wanted to work with me. And I started out with just giving free advice, and that escalated to me actually working with clients for free. Then that escalated for me charging for my time, and that escalated to me creating courses. But that took time, and it's been 4 years since then. And so remember that it's okay, and it's actually normal to not start out as a results-based expert and starting off instead as a research-based or a role model-based expert. And those 2 may interchange. So just remember to start before you feel ready, because the process of starting a YouTube channel is what's going to get you the results, and it's what's going to get you that experience. Now, at this point in the video, I really shared the top 20 deadly mistakes that you should absolutely avoid if you want to supercharge and grow your channel. At the same time, you might be wondering, what are the specific tactics to actually get more views and get more subscribers? Well, watch this video next, because I'm going to share all the strategies that you need to encompass in order to get more views on your channel. As always, guys, I appreciate you, and I will see you in this video next.